Hello and hey nerds. Have you ever wondered how different the two main revisions of the Telefunken V672 sound? Well, you've come to the right place because this is exactly what we're going to do today. Here on the left side is the old version, and on the right side we have the later one, which is labeled -1 or -2. What strikes the eye immediately is the huge output transformers on the first revision. These are double-chambered Telefunken ones. And what is a bit less visible is the fact that the later revision also isn't entirely discrete anymore. It features these little 8-legged buggers over here, which are early ICs. And that's basically it. The old one is made slightly better. It has a all-metal locking mechanism versus this plasticky thing here. Important question is, how different do they sound? Let's find out. Until now you've been hearing the later revision. Let's switch over to the old revision and see what happens. Here's the first version of the Telefunken V672. Let me keep talking so you can kind of digest what's going on here. In my book, there's a mid-range mojo going on. We have a slightly leaner bottom and also a more recessed top end. Overall, it sounds a bit older, yes, but also more colored. Quickly switching back to the later revision to refresh your ears. And here we're back with the later revision. I hear a wee bit more top end, also more bass. Overall, it sounds a bit cleaner and more true to the source. There's still some palpable transformer coloration over here. It's not an entirely clean preamp. It gives it a slight velvety touch. Let me switch back to the old version once again. Here we are again with the old V672 and its slightly pushed mid-range and added transformer coloration. Next up is going to be some different microphones to see how both preamps perform. I've switched back to the later version. This was a Sennheiser 421. Next up is going to be the bigger sibling, the 441. And here you have it, the 441. It can be quite finicky with mic preamps because it takes a lot of gain, and right now we're still on the later version of the V672, switching over now. There you go. Now, what do we hear? I think it's the same thing. Again, we have a more interesting mid-range, I'd like to call it. And the top end seems to be slightly smoothed out. I quite like it actually. If you use tons of compression and some more treatment further down the line, this will give you a beautiful velvety tone, especially with this particular 441 here. Here we are back with the later version of the V672. One more microphone, and here we have a Royer R121 knockoff. It's called RMBIV1. Comes from Russia. These guys were built a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if they're available anymore, but they do sound Royer-ish if you want. Let's head over to the first version of the V672. There you go. Here's what it sounds like. Again, in my book, it's a wee bit smoother in this case because the mid-range kind of gels with the ribbon, and the low end, surprisingly, is still there. I'm not missing anything compared to the slightly fuller sounding second revision. Let's hear it once again. Now, switching back to version number 2. And here's the newer version of this preamp. There you go. This should be enough of spoken word and different takes. I really want to do a proper A/B, and what I'm going to do is run some line level signals through the modules. This way we have the exact same signal. I'm going to try out a full mix, acoustic drums and electronic drums. Should be self-explanatory. Let's go. One more thing I wanted to try out is guitar amps. I'm going to be recording something with this DI box here, feeding it straight into the DAW, and I'll run it back to the guitar amp with this reamping box right here. And then we have, again, one take for both recordings with the two preamps in order to give us the opportunity for a proper A-B. Let's go. There you go, that's it. I hope you liked this little demo. In my book, both versions are great preamps. One is slightly more mid-rangey and colorful. The other one is very, very versatile and will work on basically anything. I think you can't really go wrong here. As always, thanks very much for watching and catch you in the next video.